Hello everybody, my name is Nemo and welcome back to another Magic video. Today we'll be discussing Enchanter's Arsenal. So let's get into it. This is a deck that is mostly a control deck. Not really though. I mean, your control is only sorcery speed because they're all enchantments. So you could get tempoed out, so you don't want to play complete control and be all about the Sigil of the Empty Throne. You want to have some other win conditions so you can speed up the game if you have to, and be able to beat decks like Dodge and Burn. So, what are we running here? We've got 24 lands, of which 10 are plains, 10 are forests. I divided it equally because I need both double white and double green, and there is a little bit more of an edge towards needing white in this deck, but I figure, just having 10 and 10 seems like the play when you need double of both. So, I've got 4 Evolving Wilds here to fetch out whatever I need, because again, running double colors for both can be a task, and that's why you need all the Evolving Wilds here. And this is a pretty reactive deck, so you're not really looking to tempo out the opponent, so having to pop an Evolving Wilds every once in a while doesn't hurt this deck as much as it would any more aggressive deck. So yeah, we're running Ethereal Armor for 1-drops here, and this is quite a nice card. You've got plenty of enchantments, so this can make a huge guy, and it's also nice that it's a 1-cost enchantment which can draw you cards, because a lot of times when you're playing enchantments with this deck, you're drawing cards. That's what a lot of your cards do. So you'll be drawing a card or two of playing a 1-mana enchantment, which is quite good on its own. So very nice there. Rancor. Always run Rancor. I don't care. Like if there's ever a deck that comes out that for some reason they put like 40 Rancors in it, I'll play all 40 Rancors. I don't care. That's how good the card is, man. Not literally, by the way. But yeah, Rancor is just an insanely good card. In this deck, you've got some nice tricks, obviously. Giving something +2/+0 and trample can close out the game faster. But also, you can cast this on your opponent's creatures, draw some cards because you played an enchantment, and then play Path to Exile on your opponent's creature. Or is it Journey to Nowhere? That's the card. Play Journey to Nowhere on your opponent's creatures, and your opponent's creature will go away. Rancor will come back to your hand, so you won't lose the Rancor. You'll have drawn some extra cards. You'll draw a card from a removal spell, all nice and sweet. And it's 1 cost, so very useful, very nice, and yeah. Close out games faster as well, or give you a bigger blocker. So the 1-cost enchantments I'm not running here. Hidden Gibbons. It's I mean, if an opponent casts an instant spell, then it becomes a 4/4 ape. Well, not everybody plays instants. Hidden Spider. When an opponent casts a flyer, then you get a 3/5 spider with reach. Not everybody plays flyers. The decks that these cards are really good against, Hidden Gibbons is very nice against Izzet, and Hidden Spider is very nice against the Fairy deck. But other than that, most decks they're okay against, and some decks they're just totally useless against, and I'd rather have something that is bound to be more useful pretty much every game I play it. And yeah. Oopsie daisy. Stay out of the deck, please. Bequeathful is a enchantment that will help you draw some cards when your creature dies, but you can't guarantee that your creature is gonna die. So I don't know. I mean, it is cheap to cast. You could potentially draw a lot of cards from it, but I like to stick with things that I know are gonna work. Well, the nice combo here is of course with Pride Mage. When you have to sack Pride Mage anyway, first you cast the Bequeathful on it, then you sack it. You'll get to draw some extra cards there from playing this thing. You get to draw extra cards from Pride Mage dying, and you're pretty happy when that happens. But I guess it's also nice with what's the card? I want to call it Mad Prophet, but I know it's not Mad Prophet. But it's a 4-cost guy that you want to die because it wipes the board when it does. I guess it's also nice with that. We've got Pride Mage here, and this is just a really good card either way. But it's also quite nice in getting rid of that pesky Oblivion Ring that has been keeping your Sigil of the Empty Throne on lockdown, or something like that. So it has some pretty nice use in this deck, and you can get it back later if you need it again with a 4-drop we'll be discussing soon. So quite a nice card either way. We've got Argothian Enchantress. Here's the start to our draw engine. And it's got Shroud, so it's going to be hard to deal with for most decks. Of course, if someone like plays some kind of mass removal thingy, it's got a very low health, so even a red mass removal will probably kill this thing. In fact, I can't imagine it won't. Because it's not like you can cast an enchantment on this thing yourself, because that's what Shroud does. But if they can't remove it, then it's quite nice and is a really good draw engine. Whenever you cast an enchantment, draw a card. Very, very good for this deck. You've got plenty of enchantments. Got Sterling Grove here. All your enchantments have Shroud, except Sterling Grove itself, of course. Well, that's very nice if you've already got Sigil down. Now they have to remove Sterling Grove, then they have to remove Sigil. But even nicer, if you don't have Sigil, you can tutor it with this card. In fact, if somebody tries to remove this card, you can, in response, sack it and get whatever you want. So, very, very good card. Spirit Loop is similar to Rancor in that if it goes away, then it comes back and everybody's happy, except your opponent. And it's life gain, but it's also reusable enchantment that will allow you to draw a card whenever you play it, so very, very good there. Just keep in mind that this doesn't give your creature lifelink. It has to trigger, so if you're taking lethal damage, then don't count on Spirit Loop saving you from that, because you'll be dead before you gain the life. So, just saying. Got Pacifism here. Removal is always nice. Got Journey to Nowhere. Even better removal is always nice. And to cast spells I'm not running here. Wall of Blossoms. Don't really need this. This is filler. And it's kind of okay against aggro decks. But I mean, even against aggro decks, I'd rather play a cheap removal spell than play a wall that may not even be able to block their biggest dude. And I mean, if your deck doesn't have enough great cards, then you run something like this to get you closer to those great cards. But in this deck, I don't think it's needed. And all my enchantments draw me cards, so why would I play an 0-4 wall to draw me card when I can play an enchantment to draw me card? We've got Daybreak Coronet. I'm not running 2-cast Aura. We know what this does, but the reason I'm not running it is because I'm not running that many creatures, and I'm not even running that many auras. I'm running enchantments, but that doesn't mean I'm running many auras. I mean, I think I'm only running like 5 of them, so it's not very likely for Daybreak Coronet to be playable. Primal Rage, don't really need this. My main battle plan is indeed the Sigil of the Empty Throne. I can win with that, so I don't really need my creatures to have trample. But I do have some guys that can grow very, very large, so it would be nice on those. But I don't know. I think this card just isn't worth it. So we're running Centaur Safeguard because this is somewhat of a slow deck, and gaining 3 life as well as chump blocking is very, very good. Sometimes this guy draws you up to 8 life by chump blocking and gaining you the life, so very nice there. We've got the Verduran Enchantress. And another one of my draw engines, so I definitely run this. This is the, well, I wouldn't say weakest, because it has 2 toughness, but it's the easiest to lose, basically, of the draw engines. But still a draw engine, still good. So, yay. We've got an Eternal Witness here. In fact, we have 2 of those, and I can't imagine not running Eternal Witness, but it's just an incredible card, and you definitely want it. And there's ways to get it back. Even if the first 2 Eternal Witnesses weren't good enough, then you can get it back and use it again. If someone just keeps on destroying your Sigil of the Empty Throne, I suppose. But yeah, very, very good card. We've got Yavimaya Enchantress. I was running a build where I wasn't running these, but I think you should run these. Because even if you're not winning the game with them, they're at least really big creatures that can block. And be very good at that. And if you need to, you can speed up your game plan somewhat with these. So yeah, they're just really good in this deck. Even though I'm kind of running a control deck and don't want to be super aggressive, they just fit the deck too well to ignore and not have in the deck. So 4 of those. We've got Mobilization, somewhat of a plan B. This is nice against decks that run lots of counter spells. Is that? If you get this out on the board, then you can just, I mean, they have to counterspell this because early game, because otherwise you can just make 1/1s and their counterspells are kind of crappy at that point. as they can't counterspell this ability. So it's somewhat of a game plan, but it's not the greatest card. But yeah, it's alright, and it can be plan B. So we got one of those. We've got Enchanter's Presence here, and another one of Draw Engines, so definitely run those. And it's an enchantment itself, so if you play this and you've got other draw engines, you can draw cards. Very nice. We've got Idyllic Tutor, and this search your library for Sigil of the Empty Throne, reveal it, put it into your hand, this shuffle your library. But it can also get other enchantments. Sometimes you want those, sometimes you want Sigil of the Empty Throne. Hey, that makes sense, right? Sometimes you want the one thing, sometimes you want the other thing. Right. Right, Nemo. Making sense. Well done. Bravo. Golf clap. But yeah, this is, another tutor. And this deck can draw a lot of cards. Sometimes you run out of cards, so it's good to have another tutor just in case that Sigil of the Empty Throne is very deep in your deck. So we've got Oracle of Nectars, and the reason I'm not running this guy is because most of the time I'll have something to do with my mana. Can't really find time to use his ability, but he is pretty good, and yeah, he can be useful, certainly. Oramancer, yeah, I'm running. I mean, it's a good card. It would be good in this deck if I wasn't already running 2 Eternal Witnesses, which are just playing better. So we've got Shackles here, reusable removal, or at least it's reusable enchantment. Because you can return to your hand cast again, draw more cards. It's very, very nice when it comes to that. But most of the time, when my draw engine is online, I'm drawing so many other enchantments that I don't really need the Shackles, and it's definitely the worst of the enchantments. So couldn't really find room for him. But it is a decent card, and it's just nice that you can replay it and stuff in this deck. But oh well. I think this deck mostly dies to tempo than to running out of cards. So got Lure here. I'm not running this because I'm not running False Prophet. If I was running False Prophet, I would run Lure. I mean, this is a way of resetting the board basically. But again, this deck dies to tempo a lot, and this is kind of slow. So I don't know. I mean, mass removal's nice, but I tried it. It's not really up my alley, I guess. So we are running one Leyline of Sanctity because it's just really nice when it is in your opening hand against Izzet or Lords of Darkness or something. You'll be surprised how many decks run stuff that have to target you. Like Diabolic Edict, stuff like that has to target the player. So it can be very, very, very nice. But you never want 2 of these, so I'm running 1. And obviously Ivory Mask is worse, so I'd sooner run the second Leyline than the Ivory Mask, of course. Of course, of course. We've got Marshall's Anthem. This is the card I was talking about. You can get back your Kozali Pride Mages or your... Let me see. Eternal Witness. Why do I always forget names of things? I don't know. Either way, it can get back your Eternal Witnesses or your Kozali Pride Mages. It's very good at that. You can also close out the game faster by giving all your dudes +1/+1. So I think 2 of those are in order. It's very, very nice. Got Opal Titan here, 4-cost enchantment, and yeah, this is just really, really good because people don't know how to deal with this card. I mean, you can get in board states where they don't have creatures down and they have to play creature, but if they do, you get a protection from whatever color that creature is, and it's just really nice and close out the game very fast with stuff like Rancor, Gigantiform, Ethereal Armor, stuff like that. Can definitely speed up this deck, can serve as a very good blocker, so yeah, good card. More removal here, and this one gains you 4 life and stops all triggered abilities. You can cast this on artifacts, if they're like equip artifacts or artifacts that have to trigger to do something, then Faith's Feathers can deal with that, so it's very, very nice there. We're not running Field of Souls, because there's just no point to it in this deck. I guess it's in there because it's an enchantment, but not running that many creatures, and the creatures I do care about are in a big form token creatures, namely the angels you get with Sigil of the Empty Throne. So, speaking of which, this is a game-winning card and just incredible. And yeah, any enchantment deck that has Sigil, you run Sigil because it's just that good. You get 4/4 angels whenever you cast an enchantment. It can very, very easily and very quickly take over a game. So definitely want that in there. 2 Gigantiforms here because, well, I guess we may as well make use of the kicker and be able to get the second Gigantiform, but having some of these in there just helps you close out the game faster, helps you against decks that try to burn your creatures or whatever. So that's just very nice. We got Loosened Limited, which we're not running because it's just a free flyer. Yes, it's an enchantment and a dude. That's cute, I guess, but it's just not good enough for 5 mana. Oversoul of Dusk I don't like because I'm mostly playing a control deck here. And yes, I do run some aggressive cards just because I have to. But Oversoul, I don't know. Against aggro decks, then it's just one blocker. And yes, it has protection, but man, it doesn't always have protection from what they're playing. So I don't like it enough for a 5 cost here. Celestial Ancient. Discard if it stays on the board and you've got a bunch of creatures out, it's likely to start winning you the game. But if you've got a bunch of creatures out, you're probably already winning the game. So, I don't know. It can be a really tough card to play against and it can certainly take over a game quite fast. But I think Sigil and Gigantiform are just a little bit better. Endless Worm is not really what I want, because if I'm at 5 mana, I'm likely playing Sigil of the Empty Throne and winning that way. And yeah, I don't want to be sacrificing enchantments to this guy, although it's very nice with Rancor and Spirit Loop though. So Privileged Position I don't like because I've got a 2-cost enchantment that does the same thing, namely Sterling Growth, and that can tutor me a card if I so desire. So meh. Angelic Chorus I guess can really win you the game if you're already really winning the game. So I think this is most of the time going to be overkill. Just because by the time you're playing this, you can probably play Sigil of the Empty Throne and get 4/4 Angels and stuff, and this is probably just overkill. So one Gigantiform we're not running because I don't think we need 3 of them. We got Martyr's Bond here, and I don't know. Like, I'm not running that many creatures, and most decks do run a lot of creatures, so this doesn't really line up with my stuff. Doesn't really line up with their stuff. So, I don't know, doesn't seem that great. Lurking Predators, again, not running them in creatures, so it's probably not going to reveal much. And Open the Vaults is not needed because we have Eternal Witness to get back my Sigil of the Empty Throne, so we don't need Open the Vaults for that. So that's the deck, and we're going to get into some gameplay in the next couple of videos. And I hope you guys enjoyed this one. My name has been Nemo. My name will still be Nemo next time. See you then.